Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Agent is In.
Welcome.
This is episode 25.
That's what I thought.
25.
Yeah. 2 times 12 plus 1.
Yeah, we're getting up there.
Mm-hmm.
Definite young adulthood.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say not midlife crisis yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
All right. So the thought for today is to kind of go through the process of what it looks like to migrate a policy set from like traditional management where you've got the root of your policy at the root of your repository, and you deal with all of the master files policy framework rendered files, and integrating your files together, and changing from that to CFBS, which is kind of it's got a manifest project file basically that kind of describes the components, the modules of the policy as a built version, and where those live, and the commit hashes that track like that specific version, as well as the steps to integrate them together. Because a lot of the new tooling and things that we've been working on, this is kind of one of those pieces that really makes a change to the way that you start managing policy, opens up some other doors for consuming other people's content, publishing your own content for other people to use, having more flexibility if you've got a situation where you are sharing some policy within maybe a large organization, but then you have maybe different business units who are moving at different rates. So a lot of potential flexibility options. And so what I have here so far is I went through this a couple of times this last week, been helping a couple of other customers with some similar stuff recently. And I've got some notes on setting up a 3.18.3 stock policy traditionally, and then some just kind of representative modifications to the policy set to integrate some custom policy in a few different ways that are pretty common modifications. And then the process of initializing that same repository actually as a CFBS project, and making the necessary changes to the CFBS project file to build like an identical policy set at the same version. Because once you're to that point, you can do something like upgrade the master files policy framework with like CFBS update, instead of kind of diffing all of those files yourselves. So I'm going to go ahead and share a screen, perhaps.
Pick a screen, any screen.
Pick a screen, any screen. Yes, I travel with multiple screens. Desktop 1.
I guess we chose not to do this demo on my watch.
Yes.
Okay, good enough.
We should do
It's a very small screen.
It is a small screen, but we should maybe figure out how to do one on the watch sometime. We did it on my phone. That was fairly small. Now I get this thing out of my way.
Right, there you go.
All right. Okay, can you see my notes? I hope so.
Yes.
You can, Cody? Great.
Great.
All right. So, as you may or may not know, I have an affinity for org mode inside of Emacs, and these are my notes. We're going to go through some of this, but first I kind of just wanted to kind of go through the notes because I did this as a repeatable process, so that these can be in the show notes, and you can try this yourself, kind of following the same process to reproduce it. So just kind of want to like go over what I've got, and then we'll do part of it, probably not all of it. But all right, here we go. Maybe. There
There
we
you
go. All right, so obviously I've got a lot of text in here, but what we're seeing here in this block is fetching and unpacking master files for 3.18.3. I chose to do this specifically with a slightly older policy set because typically when people are going through the process of migrating to CFBS or upgrading policy, you're starting with a little bit older version with the intent that eventually you're going to be on a newer version. And so you can see here that I'm getting this the master files tarball URL using CF remote. So target 3.18.3, I list master files. There's this header that comes out when you do this. I kind of wonder if maybe we could hide the header when you don't have it TPY.
Yeah.
So like if you're piped through. So
yeah.
All right. So anyway, I grab out the master files tarball and derive the file name from it so that I can fetch it down, unpack it. The strip components too removes the first slash and directory so that you're unpacking master files at the root of your repository, which is the typical way it's done. And then I get rid of the tarball and show it out. And then, this is what it looks like when you run this. It kind of looks like the root of a policy set. That's exactly what it is. The next thing that typically happens is you will have a get ignore file because there are a couple of files inside of master files that are generated by different actions, and you want to make sure that those files don't get or don't become a checked in part of the policy set because that can interfere with policy updates and things like that. So then we go ahead and commit that so that we've got the initial stock master files. We don't need to look at output. Yep. So we'll have a stock policy output at that point, and then we integrate some custom policies. So there's a few things that I did here. I introduced a new bundle and it just prints that it's early classification policy from its bundle name. And I inject it into inputs and promises.cf. So this is the very old traditional way to customize your policy. You go into body common control, add your inputs to the files you want to be parsed, and add your bundles to the bundle sequence that you want to run. Typically, those are added to the ends of the list, but it was just so much easier for me to pop up on the beginning with that. So that this is a very repeatable process. I think it's still representative. So get a custom policy that way. Also, augments has been around for a number of years at this point and is pretty well socialized throughout the community. You can do quite a lot of customization of the behavior of the MPF without having to modify vendored files. And here we're laying down a couple of additional custom policy files. So common to place custom services or custom policy files in the services directory. So that's what's happening here with custom policy 2. Some people like to use auto run. I think many people are aware that I have a grudge against auto run.
It is very easy to start with.
It
may not be as flexible, but it's an excellent way to start with adding stuff in.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I don't have, I guess it's not so much a problem with auto run. Those two things were conflated for a long time. You can now separate auto load from auto run if you want. And I think my grudge is more against the auto input, auto load, because maybe I just don't trust the disk. Like I trust what's in the policy, but maybe not the disk. So then we lay down this auto run policy, and here just got a little fun output that's showing the call stack promisers, and that's just simply because I used this same bundle and have ran it from another place. So I wanted it to have some different outputs so that you could see it was getting run from a couple of different places. And then we lay down the augments. So we add the policy file that's in the services directory to inputs. So that'll get tacked onto the inputs variable and pulled in. And then we define this common control bundle sequence end. So at the very end of the bundle sequence, it tacks on this bundle that's going to be run. And go ahead and turn on the services auto run class so that the auto run policy will get picked up into inputs as well as being run. All right. So after we take care of that, I did another modification to the policy, which is edit services main.cf. So it's another user entry point, really commonplace to throw in some test policy or kind of start your custom bundle sequence from. It's an empty bundle by default. We don't really make a lot of changes to it, so
Kind of a safe place.
safe place,
Yeah.
low cognitive burden to maintain customizations
Yeah, even though it's part of the standard.
Yeah, even though
And
it's
you would
part of
have
the
to
standard.
maybe look at diffs, but
Yeah,
it would be a
maybe
very
look at
simple
it.
diff. Because by default, it's basically, it's got some shell, but it's got no real promises in it.
Right. You could probably just there's probably a git config setting that would just say always take mine.
Remind me, yeah. Check out theirs,
Check
or check out ours. or
Check out
something like that.
ours.
Yeah.
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 Sounds right. Okay, so then some said here to inject that, because again, my aim was to make this repeatable so that you could reproduce it yourself as an exercise. And we wrap that up. And then what do we do next? That was ran the policy just to see the bundle sequence, right? So we could see it being executed at the point when it is a traditionally integrated policy set, and then compare that after the fact, after it's been migrated to CFEs. So with that, the next step will be to initialize CFBS and to make the necessary adjustments to the project file so that we produce the same thing. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
At which point you would be able to like CFBS update the master files policy framework to the latest. But I'm not sure how good all internet and things are going to be here in the castle.
Stick with the non-internet
things. Gonna stick with the fewer internet things. So let's see here. Let me get a terminal. So I have a hub. Let me boost this up. Hey, Cody, can you read this? Is this a good size? Yeah. Okay. All right. And I'll be kind of flipping back and forth and referencing my notes to see what I did. Probably copying a couple of those code blocks. Let's not give it a temp. So here I'm going to have my policy set. This is going to be where it is. I think I need to yum install EPEL and Python. Oh, and then update, update, and then fy install.
I think it's Python 3-pip.
Pip.
Yeah.
And then pip 3 install cf remote.
Such faith you have in all those commands. They're all gonna work.
Yeah. Will the
Right.
internet? Oh, look at that.
Yes.
All right. Great. So now we have the minimum requirements. I'm going to reuse my pre-written stuff here. Maybe. Oh, it's user local bin cf remote version 3.18.3 list master files type LSN1.
Yeah. See what that looks like. Be good.
Cool. I'll do it the slow way. Curl paste. I could have used CF remote download.
Hmm,
I haven't worked that into my muscle memory yet.
okay. You could have installed also to localhost. That's what I usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. There's so many
I didn't want to
options.
install into localhost because I want to.
Oh, right, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing master files. I'm usually
Yeah.
thinking of the full deal.
Right.
Server
Full
and everything
Monty.
with an agent.
Okay. Tar, unpack, strip components to, and then get rid of the junk.
Mhm.
Tar. Yes, yeah. Engine, strip components. Going into this.
Yeah.
And now we
Master
have
files.
rid of our first set and
Yep. Cool. Drawings.
there we go. Yes, I'm gonna remove both. Remove. Remove. Alrighty. Okay, so at this point, gonna have a Git repository. I probably have to do git config
Mhm.
global dash or equals.
This is space user dot, you know. It's, lots of muscle in there.
Uh,
What happens when you already know how to spin all your stuff?
right.
I was talking to people about that this week. Flash.
Team. Usually quotes, I guess.
Oh,
Valid key user.
username. Or
Isn't that right?
just do some git commands. It'll tell you.
Whatever. Okay.
Yeah. Blank.
Git status. Okay, so we got stuff here, right? Git add all of it.
Yep.
Git commit
This
that
is where
in.
blank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you something like that. In the beginning.
there was darkness. Okay, so
Yeah.
it did it.
Good to go.
So git log, boom, there is our commit.
Mhm.
All right, so at this point we add some policy to it.
Yep.
So let's move on down to what was prepared. Okay, so these files are generated. All right, I'll grab that. Status.
Yep.
There's get ignore.
It's just that it doesn't have that.
Right.
And this is like what you would do if you're kind of setting up a standard policy, kind of the old way of getting the master files policy and then into a Git repo and then making incremental changes as you go. It's kind of like where you start the old way. Recreating pre-CFBS kind of best practices.
Look, there's that command that I just ran.
There you go.
And then here's the output of that. Yep, that's folded. And then we got some custom policies. So let's grab this and grab that in there. Let's see. Paste. Oh.
Yay.
All right, so we got a policy file. And what else do we have in there next? Yeah. That was just a custom policy file. I missed these segments. All right. Paste. Oh, status.
Right, so some more files. You need that special command that just repeats this for you. We won't mention exactly what it's called.
Yep. All right, so here we go, right? I've got the custom policy file. It's added as part of the bundle sequence. It's added as part of inputs. This is like a complete logical change. and augments. So we're going to lay down policy file in services and services auto run. Then we're going to lay down the f.json to turn on things.
Yeah.
I know the problem.
Okay.
The problem is that I need to be in edit special because there are leading spaces in that other view.
See. Oh, right. I see the leading spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I made that mistake before. Boom. All right.
All right. Then we
Status, diff.
They're all
Add.
Yep.
Yes.
You won't have that yet.
Now. No. Yeah.
No. They're not different files. There's new files, so there's no diff between.
That's what I wanted.
Right.
Get diff what staged. All right, so we've got custom policy 2 being loaded to inputs. We've got the bundle sequence n for custom policy 2. We've got services auto run enabled, which is going to enable it here for custom policy 3. Yes, that is what I did and what I want. All right. I'm going to close the edit special. All right, and then the other thing that I was doing here is to put that same auto run bundle into services main.
Right.
So it'll call custom policy 3 there, but it'll also call it from auto run.
Right, and these are changes that you make to files that are in master files.
Yeah,
so as you
part
migrate,
of the framework.
As you migrate to a new version of master files, these would be diffs that you have to take a look at as you upgrade it, which would kind of, cause you trouble, so to speak.
Now doing another bundle execution. And okay, and if we fix permissions, ignore a couple of errors. Didn't I?
Oh, it's got an EOF in it.
Yeah.
Oops.
Happened.
So dash R for EOF. It's in there somewhere.
Just did something wrong. Oh, I did something wrong because it's erroring. Okay. What was I?
So you do like ref dash R. Load, yeah. EOF, the big EOF, yeah.
Oh, right.
It's in the file somewhere. That cat, right? Oh, that means normal.
Custom
policy
file
yeah.
1.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
That's perfect.
Tricky. All right.
Yeah, wizard.
So let's also give it evil mode. Get status. Add status. Yes, these are the changes that I want. And now, and then, cool. I'm waiting for it to finish. Yep. There is our one from main. Great. So now we will go ahead and commit this as What did I do? Oh, added policy. No, fixed. Yep. All right, back on track. All right, so now we're starting to get to the exciting parts. Main course. All right, so let's make. Do I do my get status? All right, so nothing has changed. We are now at a representatively customized default policy set, and CFBS is already installed. So I'm going to CFBS init, take the defaults. So giving us a project name, a description. Yes, we want to use git commits with every CFBS command. It went ahead and used the CFBS username, and that's fine for my purposes here. And the default commit message, initialize the new CFBS build project. It will initialize the Git repository for you if you do this on just a plain old directory. If you answer yes to Git. Do you wish to build your default policy set on top of master files? Yes, I'm going to take the default here. It pulls in the latest version of the build module for master files. So you'll see here 321.1-2. There is the repository that it comes from, the commit that it's at for that version. In order to change this, you need to change both the version and the commit, and potentially the build steps if they differ between versions, but that's fiddly to do, and I found it is just simply easier to remove master files. I could have answered no to begin with. That probably would have been one less step. But not remove. I can't remote. It's just RM. Git. It's not Git. It's yes.
Yes, right.
Remove master files. All right.
Yeah, I guess in this case you could have just answered no.
Ooh, I really want to do Git now. I've been typing it. CFBS. CFBS and your files at 3.18.3.
Yep, that's the one.
Cool. All right. Let's go. And now that we have initialized that default policy set, we can CFBS build. So this is going to build the master files using the CFBS specification steps.
Right.
So if we just take a look at that real quick, CFBS.json, you can see we've got some things that are run here to kind of nudge things around to be similar to what they are if you were deploying from the release tarball. So we can now, if cursively excluding.
Yeah, so when you do CFBS build, it builds the module master files into a directory called out, and then a subdirectory called master files.
So I'm going to recursively diff the root of the repository, except for out, against out master files.
Yeah, basically compare your master files to the other master files.
It's not excluding, it's exclude.
Exclude, yes.
And I can't read that style. Unified.
Yep. There you go.
All right, so we come back here and look at this. We'll see that only in the CFBS project, right? The root of that project directory is the CFBS.json file.
Which makes sense.
Only in master file, like the deployed thing, we've got like an extra README. We've got probably like an empty JSON data file. We've got our custom
Things we recognize.
policy.
Right.
Yep. And we've got a couple of other things here that are kind of extra, but they're not, there's no
That's significant
difference
for
in,
us, yeah.
there's no difference. There's a little bit of difference maybe in packaging that we should tidy up here. But there's no significant difference in what it's doing other than, look, we see that this custom policy that we just wired in is missing.
Yeah.
So next, maybe I should refer to my notes. Do all this stuff, do build,
Yep, see how it builds.
use the thing. Look at the diff, we did. Oh, here's the diff, we see it again.
Yeah.
And, just some different ways to look at that. Exclude these things, and
Right. So now you start adding.
now I start
your
adding
custom
back
things.
my customizations. So hit status again.
Yeah, the out directory, yeah, right, that's a build artifact. You can add that to get ignore if you want to, but it's not significant really at this point.
Right, so I need to CFBS add custom policy 1. It's actually the dot slash.
I can fix it for you, but yeah.
Now it's prompting us for the bundle name that we want to add to the bundle sequence.
Yep.
That is exactly what we did the first time through, just by editing promises.cf. So we're going to go ahead and take this. So the net result here is that we're going to have the same default policy set, but as we go through this reintegration of our custom policy with how it's wired in master files, we'll go ahead and take the more modern standards to leverage augments for that wiring. So we'll go ahead and take option 1 here, which I guess was the default, and I'll just take the default commit message. And let's go ahead and look at CFBS.
Right, so have an added chunk of JSON here.
Right.
To
So
build this line.
This is not quite what I want. This is what it does by default. So it's going to copy that custom policy file from the root of this repository into services CFBS custom policy, where before it was just services custom policy 1. So I'm actually just going to edit this, just because I want it to look the same. What it was before, because I will feel better knowing it's what I had before.
Yeah, I mean, you're used to it again, I guess.
Right, and then I'm not going to have to change it again because it's going to stay.
And then the policy files below it also has that CFPS in it.
Right, thank you. Good. All right, and then we want to add that to the bundle sequence. So we'll save that.
Yeah, so we have these special steps that have special names, and they do special things that are specific to managing things in this project directory and putting them into the master files. So the paths you see on the left are relative to the project directory. Paths you see on the right are relative to the built master files directory.
That's a long commit.
There you go. Nice message.
All right. And then we got what else do we have? We have CFBS add
New def.json.
Yes. Before we do def.json, there's another policy file, right? So that'll be under services autorun.
Okay, yeah. That's the policy 3.
Policy 3.
Yeah.
There's 2 services.
Was it inside of services? No.
There it is. Services.
Custom policy. Oh, just services.
Yeah. First one was at the root.
Yep.
Wait, I didn't do that right.
Oh.
I did it wrong.
Oh, you wanted to do the services.
I wanted it where it was originally. Just to
at the root.
Yeah, just to show this process of replicating what you have. And then once these build steps are more like nailed down like this, it's so much easier to come back here and say, okay, I'm going to take all my custom policy files and like move them under the same place. They're easy to find, rather than try to remember it like I'm doing right now.
You want a beginning slash or like a dot slash? Or is that good? You check your notes.
Yeah, good idea. Oh, what did I do?
You did dots.
I did set is what I did.
Right.
There it is. Services. rewrite it with no leading slash.
Yeah, just plain,
Just
that's what I
plain.
thought, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I
Good.
was worried of, the root kind of situation.
Got it. All right. So there we go. And CFBS. And that. All right. So now, grab. What was that? And services custom policy 2 and get add services auto run.
There you go.
Custom policy 3.
Yep.
And also
Yeah, that's Jason.
add services name.
Yeah.
It's nice. And you said def.json.
Yeah.
Get and
you can also add an entire directory of all kinds of stuff, and that will do the business as well. So if you have like a lot of times in master files, you'll add a whole directory of policy and JSON files or whatever else, and even template files and things. You just add a whole directory with CFEngine, and it'll pull everything in. That's another way.
Not the right thing to do, Nick.
Okay. Where are you at?
CFBS instead of getting.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like add services. Custom policy 2. There we go. I was like, how come it's not prompting?
And you can just hit enter here.
Yeah, just hit enter. Yep. Hit that.
Yep.
And then CFBS add services name.cf. Yep. And CFBS add services auto run. Policy 3. And take that default. And no, that wasn't. I didn't add it into the bundle sequence originally.
True. That's true. Yeah.
Get yes, add that.
Okay.
Yep. Take it. All right. Now.
You know, always check it with CFS build.
Yep. That's what I was.
Status.
Yeah, I was just gonna come in through here. I already know I messed it up.
Yeah.
Service policy 2. Okay. So we don't want it to go into CFBS services. We just want it to go to services.
Right, because the number 2 goes in there and the number 3 goes into auto run.
Double services. Yeah. Okay.
And then the next one goes to services auto run. Or I guess this is main.cf.
Right, service main.cf 2.
It's that one.
Services main.cf. And then we should see that we got this other one here.
Yeah.
And that was no to the additional bundles.
Right. You might take care of the leading or the trailing comma maybe.
Yep. And also take care of this.
Yeah, and this is like things you have to adjust because of the way the CFPS works, but you just have to do this once.
Right.
As you migrate your policy from the old way to the new way.
Auto run custom policy 3, and
That's good.
We got augments. Notice
Great.
here we got a different command, copying files, policy files to add to things. Here we have this JSON, def.json,
right,
which does a merge data.
That's right.
In the same methodology as cores merge data. So we're gonna say that get add cfbs.json, get status, get commit, and then it has to where. And then if I look at and do that same run as before. So this
is just looking at the current directory promises.
So again, this is just rerunning the original because I'm looking right here. Yep. Now I'm going to change it to run the one from CFBS build, which I got
this CFBS build, right? Yep.
Build it.
And then change the path to promises to out master files.
Yeah. So it's going to be here, out, files. See. 2 auto run,
Yeah, so I mean, it's already doing things you expect
3.
already.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
where's custom policy 1?
Well, I don't-
Early
Early
classification.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I bet. Wait, I bet. Look here.
Yeah, exactly. Custom policy
Custom
1.
policy 1 goes to
We
the
can check the
root.
out master files and see what it looks like. See if it's in the top level directory. Or you can check your notes.
I think
Yeah. Yeah, check on Google.
let's look at out master files.
Yeah, get the one there.
Yeah, I do have it.
Yeah.
So
Maybe the inputs aren't quite right.
Oop.
Mhm.
Yes.json. And back down here to custom policy 1. Copy it there. Policy files.
You want to look at your built
Notes.
def.json,
Oh,
right? Because you have the policy files build step, which will add something to def.json inputs.
def.json.
Yeah. Then look at out master files def.json. Inputs, custom policy 1, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Right.
And then, but you have custom policy 1 is the bundle sequence n.
I took this default
Yeah.
and I had put it at classification. I had
different place.
intentionally done it to these different places
Okay,
because
there you go.
like that's a common thing. All
There you
right,
go.
so
Okay.
let me look here, right? So if I come back up here, boom, right? So
Yep.
here's what I said there. And to do that, just put it there. It says these days we have augments, and for that, control bundle sequence n. That really
Just look for your -1 thing in some def.json, right? Somewhere. Yeah, so the old way is put it in inputs. The new way, keep going. The new way, it's going to be, drum roll please. Okay, you added it. Okay, so here, okay, so you have policy files, blah, bundles, that's policy 1. Okay.
there should be maybe something I left out of CFBS or the def.json rather.
Yeah.
Let me come through here. Oh, look at this.
Oh, lots of.
I fixed all the differences.
Okay. Right. Yeah, that's something else that you didn't do, but that's not important now,
That's
I think.
fine. No, it's not.
Cool.
And then all the way down here, and then
there's inputs.
And
Yeah. Oh, so you have that's there. Yeah.
plus policy 1.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
You have 2 and 3.
Well, what did
That's good.
It did run from early. Okay, that's the difference. That's the difference. When I injected the policy, it was easiest to put it after the first inputs line. So when I injected that, it was at the beginning of inputs, and that's where that new variable is in augments is up at the top.
Okay. Right.
So what I need to actually do here is get this out of my way. Documentation for gotta go master files and
Documentation.
classification
Classification bundle sequence
before auto run.
Okay, there you go.
All right, so there's this little
yeah, so you can just copy that as another or you have a def.json already, so you can just add
just grab that name.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so get out of there.
Then friend.
And then JSON and variables
Right
here,
there.
um, quotes.
Default got colon def. There you go.
It's that part. Yep. So you'll notice here, these are fully qualified. And this is also using the since
Yeah, you can do
318 variables,
right.
which allows you to target any namespace and any bundle to predefine a variable, which is super great.
And I think actually, for me, like the biggest benefit of this is adding comments. Yes, things, because that's like priceless to have some documentation there, which you can't do with the regular
Can't
bars.
see with the other one. Yep. So in here, we'll do value, and then that's USD policy 2.
One, you want one, yeah,
We want one.
and then you
And
want
then I
to,
want to add this beautiful comment.
right? Got it. That's gonna mention that.
And you can also do meta, right?
Mhm.
So you can tag stuff for enterprise users that you can tag something with a variable to come back for reporting, or just tag things to group things together. Do that. And those things come out in the verbose policy logs, just like if you were to have added comment or tags directly on the variable.
Yep.
In policy.
Okay.
It? Yes.
Mhm. So the one policy one, or, yeah, there,
sorry.
exactly, perfect.
All right.
And then CFEs built, see what happens. Yeah, okay, that much worked.
Error reading,
Okay.
JSON file.
So you could
I
do like
messed it
a
up.
CFEs pretty on that file.
I can, yeah, CFBS pretty.
This is a little helper that we added to check things.
Bonk,
Check the
line 7. So this +7.
Maybe not.
Uh,
Colon 7.
colons +7. No, maybe it's just colon.
I think it's just colon. Or maybe it's,
Never mind.
yeah, we got it.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
So the meta line is not happy. It's an array.
I was writing policy.
Right, yeah, right. Okay.
All
So
right.
you can do see if it's pretty back on it.
Yeah,
Check it before you commit it.
thank you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great.
Now you can get at it. It's almost a joke. Get at it.
Get at it. Get at it. Get at it.
Get at it.
Yeah, get at it.
it. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. CF.
Yes.
Build. I saw an error. Stuff. And now if I do what am I doing again?
Your
policy run.
Yeah, policy run.
Yeah.
So for
So we're running CFBS built policy.
there it is.
Here's our early classification.
Yep.
Hello from 3 via our run, then 2, and then 3 again via services main.
I think that's a QED, as they say in Latin. QED, quite easily done, like a math proof.
Oh, I did it. Yeah.
It's actually Latin, but I don't remember the Latin phrase for it. We can fill that in post.
I think I already have it. I already did it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it.
Okay. I just wanted to see it on the same screen.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, whoops. Typing too hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Auto run. Cool. Policy for main, policy 2. So they're identical. So, this episode did take a little bit.
It's great.
But it's not that hard to go ahead and modify your policy to instrument it so it can still be deployed in both ways. And that's one of the things about this that's really neat. So I can do this on a development hub and have CFBS deploy it from CFBS, but on a production hub, it can still be deploying traditionally.
Yeah.
The only difference for that repository is that CFBS.json file.
Yeah, exactly. You've got the same sources. You're not, it's using the same stuff, so you can make changes to these policies in both places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
should I walk off the cliff here and
I think you're good to go, man. This is,
CFBS
we
update?
can take a look at what it looks like.
Do you want to use the new build steps? Nope, I want to keep mine.
Yeah.
And CFBS build.
Okay.
And
Fail.
run. Did something fail?
Yeah, something a little tiny bit failed there.
Oh,
That's maybe because of the little steps we have in there.
well,
Yeah, but cool.
close.
Yeah, I'd say you achieved the goal though.
I did.
You
I
had
was
old master
targeting. I
files.
did push it over the. And that's
But
what I
yeah,
said.
you had an old master files, you customized it, you customized the standard policy, then you migrated that to CFBS build and it worked.
Yeah.
So I'd say, like I said, QED, quite easily done.
Awesome.
Math proof proved.
Anybody have any questions about any of this process before we sign off for the end of episode 25?
But yeah, thanks for hanging out.
All right. It was nice seeing you guys. We'll see you next time.